Two race cars enter the same Formula One paddock. One exists to fight for podiums. The other exists just to survive the weekend. Same sport. Same rules. Completely different realities. Because Formula One is not one single level of racing, it's a hierarchy, a brutal ecosystem where technology, money, politics, engineering, and driver talent collide at 200 miles per hour. And the higher you climb, the smaller the world. Level 1, Haas VF23 Survival Machine. This is the lowest level of modern Formula One, the Haas VF23, a car built not to dominate Formula One, but simply to survive inside it. Smaller budget, smaller factory, fewer resources. Compared to giants like Red Bull or Mercedes, Haas operates in an entirely different financial universe. And yet, this machine still represents one of the most advanced race cars on Earth. Over 1,000 horsepower, carbon fiber everywhere, aerodynamics so complex they look like fighter jet engineering, but inside Formula One. This car lives at the back because Formula One is cruel. Being incredibly fast is not enough. You have to be faster than teams spending hundreds of millions more than you. At this level, the goal is simple: finish races, avoid disasters, score occasional points, stay alive financially. Because without surviving here, nothing above this level is even possible. Level 2, McLaren MCL60, the opportunist. Now we enter the midfield, the McLaren MCL60, a car that started badly and slowly transformed into one of the fastest machines on the grid. This is the chaos zone of Formula One, not dominant enough to control races, not weak enough to disappear. Cars like this survive through strategy, perfect pit stops, smart tire management, aggressive upgrades, and when everything aligns, they become dangerous. The MCL60 became famous for one reason: its evolution. McLaren upgraded this car aggressively during the season until suddenly it was fighting near the front. That's what makes midfield Formula One terrifying. One breakthrough can change everything. At this level, teams are no longer surviving. They're hunting opportunities. Level 3, Ferrari SF24, the front runner. This is where Formula One becomes serious. The Ferrari SF24, a car designed with one expectation only: victory. At this level, milliseconds decide everything. A slightly better floor design, a cleaner airflow concept, better tire temperatures. Tiny improvements suddenly become massive advantages. And the pressure becomes brutal because when you drive for Ferrari, second place already feels like failure. Millions of fans. Global media pressure. Historic expectations. Every race weekend becomes psychological warfare. This level is no longer about participation. It's about fighting for wins. Level 4, Red Bull RB19. The season killer. Some Formula One cars don't just win, they destroy entire seasons. The Red Bull RB19, one of the most dominant Formula One cars ever built. This machine made elite competition look unfair. Race after race, weekend after weekend. The RB19 simply disappeared into the distance. Its aerodynamics were almost untouchable. Its tire management looked impossible. Its efficiency terrified rival teams. And when a car becomes this dominant, the entire sport changes around it. Teams panic. Rules evolve. Engineers desperately copy concepts they barely understand. Because dominant Formula One cars don't just beat opponents, they force Formula One into evolution. Level 5, Braun GP BGP001, Engineering Shockwave. Now we enter engineering legend territory. The Braun GP BGP001, a Formula One car that shocked the entire sport. This team nearly disappeared before the season even began. Then, suddenly, they built a championship-winning monster. The secret was the double diffuser, a revolutionary aerodynamic idea competitors couldn't react too quickly enough. That single innovation changed everything. And that's the terrifying beauty of Formula One. One breakthrough, one engineering advantage, and the entire hierarchy collapses overnight. At this level, Formula One stops feeling like racing. It starts feeling like technological warfare. Level 6, McLaren MP44, immortal machines. Some Formula One cars become bigger than the sport itself. The McLaren MP44, the machine Ayrton Senna drove during one of the most legendary eras in racing history. This car didn't just win. It became mythology. The red and white livery, the screaming engine, Senna pushing the car beyond human limits. Even decades later, people still talk about this machine emotionally. Because at this level, the driver and car become inseparable. When people remember Senna, they picture the MP4-4. That's what makes certain Formula One cars immortal. They stop being machines. They become symbols of greatness itself. Level 7, Mercedes W11, the peak of human engineering. And finally, we reach the top, the Mercedes W11, a Formula One car so advanced it genuinely looked futuristic. Its cornering speed looked unnatural. Its stability looked impossible. Its pace shattered records. This machine represented the absolute peak of hybrid-era Formula One engineering. Thousands of engineers, millions of dollars, years of aerodynamic research, all focused on building the fastest racing machine possible. And the terrifying part? The W11 was so dominant that rival teams openly admitted they couldn't fully understand how it was that fast. That's level 7. The point where a Formula One car stops feeling mechanical and starts feeling like humanity testing the edge of physics itself. So here's the truth about Formula One. Most people think it's just 20 drivers racing identical cars. It isn't. Formula One is a technological arms race disguised as a sport. Every level changes the goal. At the bottom, teams fight to survive. In the middle, they fight for relevance. At the top, they fight for history. And only a handful of cars ever become legendary enough to reach level 7. Because in Formula One, speed alone isn't enough. The parkour has to change the sport itself. If this was useful, subscribe. This is Porsche Dude. And I break down cars the way they actually work, not the way the brochure describes them. See you in the next one.